Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy D Mike the Creator. Hey, coming back at you live today with another topic about consumption. Um, I wanted to talk to you guys about consumption today. When I was on my morning walk, I was just walking around, and the thoughts and ideas of how like we say like the elites, they have a lot of power, but to that extent though, we give them a lot of power too. In this regard, the people cutting the grass in the background, and also the dog trying to get them as well. But we give them a lot of power, and they own the elites. They own a lot of you know big businesses, which were at one point small businesses. It was just at the fact when they were small businesses, the people gave the energy or their attention to those businesses, which now caused them to become big businesses, right? And with the consumption, though, think about these things that are constantly in a cycle that we're constantly buying over and over again. For for example, I have an iPhone 14 that iPhone 14 Pro Max that I'm recording this off of, right? And at one point there was an iPhone, what, 3, the first iPhone. And when we realized that it's just gonna keep going and going. Like, when will we get to iPhone 50? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to say out loud and to think about, but like, we're on the verge there. You know, in my opinion, we're living in a dystopian society. Uh, within this capitalist society that we live in, you know, think about the microwaves, the air fryers, or for better terms, let's use a car for example. Think about how many versions of cars there are that is constantly being upgraded, not even say renovated, upgraded. Like, there are new cars coming out every single day, just about, if not every single day, on a large scale that's not, it's not equaling out to the amount of people that are here on this planet, because this planet is is being run off of greed, off of consumers purchasing these products that these companies are pushing out to us for their financial gain. And like I say, we give them the power, the energy to be able to succeed in that regard, which is not something we want them to do, to be successful in that regard by being in that elite category. But we are giving them that power that puts them in that category. We, as in the mass majority, the everyday civilians, the everyday people, We give them that power, right? So on a, and I know a lot of us we do because I used to be I used to fall victim of this is like the elites, the billionaires. They're not helping all these big problems out at all, you know, and they are helping out, just not to a point of what we think they could do, which obviously there's always more to be done. There could always be more to be done in certain situations. It's just that if we look at it in that light, the macro, those billionaires, like what are they doing? They could be doing more. They have millions, right? We get that. But what about the micro? Like if we want our outer world to change, we must first change our inner world. So what can we do? What can you do to be able to help out with that? And obviously we want some crazy change to happen overnight. But what small change or small action can we be able to take to help with that change that will lead us to that change? What small decision, conscious decision, idea will lead us to the direction of where we want to go? You know, and whether that be, you know, homeless, how can we be able to solve or help out with world hunger, kids going hungry, women's abuse? You know, it's a lot of things that could be better, can be better, and it will get better. You know, and sometimes we have to, like I said, we look at the macrocosm, the bigger scale of things. Sometimes we have to take those bite-sized pieces to be able to get to that bigger scale, right? So, like, what can we do? What can you do? Ask yourself that. What can I do? How can I, right? What can I, how can I be able to help out in a very small but impactful way? Because the smallest things are very large to some people, believe it or not. You know, it's just our ego sometimes don't allow us to see it that way, especially in this society, especially with technology. We see people putting this thing on social media, um, all these grand gestures. It's a lot, but you know, you don't have to be like everyone. What can you do? You like the one small move you can make can be the biggest result someone else could receive, right? So, with that consumption topic being said, what are some of the things that us as a whole are, you know, consuming? You know, one thing that I started doing at the beginning of this year was getting rid of a lot of clothes, right? I started getting rid of a ton of clothes because I realized this society we do use retail therapy as a fix, right? When there's a lot of people that don't even have 7 different clothes or outfits for the week, but there's people that have closet fulls of clothes that they have never worn with tags still on it. Think about that. So I made it a point earlier this year, like I got rid of those clothes, took it to Goodwill, some of them play those closet, but really just be a minimalist, be an essentialist, you know, moving with purpose, the things that I do, there's a reason behind every little thing that I do, and it adds up over time. I have everything I own now can go in my car, and I can take off, and I'm okay with that. And I love that. I love that idea because I have everything that I need, and understanding the difference between a want and a need. Right? A lot of these new things are coming out. Is it like I said, it's new, but it's just a upgraded version of something that was already out before. So do you truly need it? And then when you ask yourself, what what is it that's in me that's a little deeper? If you go a little deeper, that's causing me to even want to get that. Why? Is it pride? Is it because I saw this post of other people doing it? I don't know. It's a lot of things that lead us to consumption. And the dogs are here. They're playing with the stick. I don't know if I can see them. Nope, can't see them. They're right here. Just oh no. Either way, having a good time. But what leads us to that consumption in this society? Like I said, I love like now. Like I didn't know what it would look like, but like I love not having that much stuff like on my person, like or in my like, cause like it's none of it is really owned anyways. Cause when we all do pass over, we can't take it with us. You know what I mean? We can't take it with us. I realize that a lot of the stuff that we hold on to dearly have emotional or sentimental value to it. There's some kind of emotional history past that makes us want to hold on to certain things or even acquire certain things. When really, if we let go of it, we have it in our minds, the memory of it, and we're gonna have it in our next life as well. Because this here is just a small journey to be able to gather information, in my belief, to move on to the next life after this life or quote unquote dream, right? Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream, merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. And we get to be able to choose what we want to do. Um, it's just that sometimes that consumption holds us back from being able to go out and do more, find our purpose. And our purpose, I believe, is to experience life in a very joyful state, being able to do things that we want to do. And understand that it starts with us, starts with you. We can point fingers, we can blame, but that doesn't really help with the changing of what's going on right now. But how can the collective, the mass majority, be able to minimize the consumption to prevent the elites from keeping the power that we gave them? You know, and I like I said, I believe we can be able to cut back on a lot of things of, like I say, this consumer world or reality where that was created. It's by design. That's a fact I can be able to bring out to you guys. A lot of this stuff is by design to keep us distracted. So many distractions out there. So many, and Sometimes you just have to pause, get out into nature, and allow the information to come to you. Be still, you know. But like I say, with consumption, it's, like I said, we will overcome and we will get better as a collective to regain our power back. Because the thing is, we never lost it. We just kind of gave it up without knowing it. And I'm very optimistic about, regardless of what's going on in the world right now. I'm very optimistic about the changes that's going to happen here in the near future, within a year or two, 3, 4, 5 years, of where society is going to be at. Because we're seeing a lot of things change right now at this moment, and like I said, I'm very optimistic about what's to come in the near future, though. But let me know what you guys think, how we can be able to minimize on the consumption, or how you can be able to minimize on consumption, um, to be able to get your power back. What can you do? Now let me know. Peace.